What is going on, y'all? Here we are. Another episode of Talkin' Winter with Swinter.
We're back.
Live from the Swinter Group World Headquarters here in St. Louis, Missouri.
Sunny St. Louis.
It is stupid sunny for being February.
Yeah. I'm a little angry about that, actually.
You know, wait.
You got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah, but you know, the problem is it's friggin' February, man.
Yeah.
Why do we pushing snow or being cold and all crabby and hunkered around a fire?
I'm not angry because it's warm. I'm angry because it's going to be turned back to cold Tuesday night.
That's fair.
And try to convince anybody in my household that we should not be planting a garden right now.
You know, yeah, keep talking. I'm going to look at the forecast because this is kind of bizarre. So tell the people something. Tell them who we are and what we're doing here.
Yeah. So this guy to my left over here won't quit touching me.
Whatever.
Wow. Okay. Well, maybe not quite that much what we're doing
That's
here.
Adam Reeder.
Not quite.
All right. Okay. So since obviously Jason's not qualified to be the host of a podcast, we're gonna just move this on. So so what's bizarre is our forecast here for St. Louis right now, right? So today we're talking sunny and 78, right? Tonight, we're gonna be mostly cloudy, 57. Tomorrow, we're talking partly sunny, then mostly sunny, breezy, high of 82. Then it's going to drop down that night, 31 degrees.
Freezing.
82 to 31.
Welcome to St. Louis.
What the hell?
In the span of about 7 hours. 6 hours.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
You know, you might not remember back in the day when argon gas first came out for Windows.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And now they're saying, going to get a little snow on the backside of this thing, like not measurable, but still. Whatever.
Yeah, the pavement temps are going to be too warm.
Yeah. Sun's going to go down 75 degrees. Next morning, walk out 31.
I remember a very recent forecast that said the same thing.
Yeah, we're going to wind up. Yeah, who the hell knows what's going to happen? It's going to be bizarre. But you know what though?
You know, we're not the only ones though, because everybody we talk to, same thing. Snow this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just one of those years.
Yep. And you know what? Speaking of talking to people, Jason and I had the pleasure of being in both. Where the hell were we last week? First, it was St. Joseph.
Oh, St. Joseph.
Yeah, we were
Missouri.
in St. Joseph, Missouri,
Yeah.
and then we were in Omaha, Nebraska, talking to contractors about how they do things and what they do and why they do things the way they do them. And what we were really surprised was there's a lot more folks using paper logs these days than you'd expect. You know, you would think in the digital world there'd be a lot more of switch over to not using paper logs.
Yeah,
but that's not necessarily the case.
No, and I would say that, I'll give 3 size examples: small, medium, and rather large companies that were using paper logs.
Yeah,
I mean a rather large snow outfit.
Yeah, I mean there was one company in Omaha that was, big, still using paper logs.
Yeah,
and so that I got to thinking about that, and I was like, we had to do an episode on that, because if this many people are using paper logs, that we could talk about that a little bit, given that we happen to have some solutions for that we've developed on our own, which if you're listening what that is. That's all right. You know what? We're gonna go to one shameless plug per episode. Here it is. Shameless plug.
Shameless.
Yep. So that's the SG Advantage, systems and software for snow, is something that we can help you with that. But I want to talk about the paper log specifically versus digital logs. And so, I think that I do think that even though we're a technology company at this point now, where we have systems and software for snow removal.
Yeah.
It would behoove me for everybody to go to digital logs, but I think that, there is some advantages to paper logs when it comes right down to it. So if we come out of the gates with those, I think the biggest one to me is that you don't have to worry about a technological failure, which coincidentally, as we were getting ready to head out to Omaha last week, AT&T's, system-wide service was intermittent or down. We had, there was, we could not use our phones.
Couldn't.
So that's something where you had to be on a Wi-Fi connection for it to work.
Until we got to the airport Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was something where, that was where, not having to worry about that. It's that's one less thing you got to worry about in a storm.
They sent me a text message last night. AT&T did.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yep, sorry about that.
Yep, and are they going to give you $5 off your bill or something like that?
No, it's just not in mine. They just said sorry about that.
You're not.
I thought somebody said I had heard somewhere that they're going to give you $5 off. Oh yeah.
Oh, of course you got to file a claim.
Yeah, if you go in and do that, if you spend 3.5 hours working with it, you can get your $5.
Nicole's on a podcast one time. She thinks she can just jump in whenever she wants. Man,
I was your first man.
Oh,
that's right.
You know what else? Yeah. You know what else is a little weird for folks that follow and have been listening? We actually didn't air that episode.
Oh,
with Nicole, she's like, you know what? That was not succinct, clear cut, good information. It was kind of disjuntled. Yeah, and so she said, don't air that one. What? No, I'm tapping the pen. Fine. I'm done tapping the pen. Anyway, all right. So paper logs. So yeah, so you don't have to worry about technology to fail.
It's simple.
I think there's not a lot of need to train folks on that. I mean, it's for the most, they still screw them up, but I mean, it's not something that's a huge, big problem. Yeah. And I think another thing is that the paper logs can be done in any language.
Yeah, and that's beneficial for sure.
I think that's something that we've discovered really in the last month and a half. I mean, we don't use a lot of H-2B labor here. We don't have a lot of labor from outside of the country. Most of the people that we work with, speak English. It's not a huge problem. But
at least somebody on the crew does.
Yeah, and something that we've kind of learned is that even let's just pick on Mexico for a second. Even if you're from Mexico, that doesn't necessarily mean you speak the same Spanish as somebody else,
or Spanish at all. It could be a native language.
Yeah. So there are a lot of individuals that show up, and I hate using words like a lot because I don't have.
No, there is though.
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't have stats to back it up.
Yeah, that's not that's not a definitive term.
Yeah. So I do you?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you got?
Personal stats. So in the last 4 years when I worked for a larger landscape company, same thing. You'd have guys come in from Mexico, but you've got 3 different dialects, and they refer to it as slang. But one person from East Mexico doesn't recognize somebody else from the western side, or you jump into other countries, Guatemala, Panama, like they can't even communicate. It's Spanish, but it's not normal Spanish.
I'm pretty sure the Chinese are sending a bunch of folks over the border these days too, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, that's different. That's never mind.
But thought you had stats.
Those are my stats, personal stats. That's what I'm going off of.
Come on, bro. I mean, was that not specific enough for you?
It was not definitive.
Well, you need numbers?
Yes.
You're an analytical guy?
Yeah. Okay.
6 out of 10.
All right. There you go.
There
6
you go.
out of 10.
There you go.
So yeah, but the paper logs can be done in any language. So you can distribute those paper logs to a crew, and they can fill it out with whatever language it is, and you just need one guy to translate it, and you can do that later. Something else too is I think that there's a lot to be said for being what you know. In that, if you've been using paper logs, you've been in business for 25 years, you've been doing it this way for 25 years, this works, you know that this is going to get you through.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, that is something. Now, if you're just getting started and you're thinking, man, I had to do this, I had to do that. Well, man, to get onto a system for $100 a month that gives you, contracts and bidding and paperwork and digital logs. I mean, all that. I mean, that's something you need to look at.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking about paper logs, that's if you've been at it a long time.
I think for some guys it's a comfort thing. No matter, in every storm you have different variables that happen all the time. Could be with equipment, could be with people, could be with the weather doesn't line up. But paper logs, it's the same thing for them. So it's just that comfort level. It gives them a little peace of mind.
Yeah. And but I think too though that there are a lot of disadvantages. And you guys are looking at so believe it or not, folks, ladies and gentlemen, or both of you that are listening, thank you.
All 3
to
of
that.
you.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks. We actually do have show prep that we do here, and not for all of them. This one we actually
one we did.
Yeah, so you guys are going to notice that number 5 there should actually be number 1 of section B. 1A5 should actually be 1B1.
Nobody knows what we're talking about.
Nobody listening knows. I'm just trying to say that We actually put some thought into this.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on to the disadvantages of paper logs, right? Is you have to take that paper and enter it into something.
Yep.
Right. Like you can't just take that paper log and click an export button and then bam, see what it is.
Right.
You have to take that paper log, put it into some type of assembly methodology where then you can analyze that info and create your billing and know what your payables are.
Right. Because I don't think anybody has what would have been referred to maybe 40 or 50 years ago, maybe even longer than that, as a bookkeeper, where you literally have everything in a book.
You are old.
Your receivables and your payables and all that. Everything is some sort of invoicing mechanism. Bank statements and so forth. It's all electronic these days. So having a paper log, fantastic, but you still have to enter that somewhere.
Right. Which then, it adds a step, which means it takes longer. I mean, that's another problem to paper logs.
And that's something that the larger company that we spoke to in Omaha, they were very clear to mention that, when we get all these paper logs in at the end of the storm, it's all hands on deck.
Yeah.
And it's a madhouse trying to sort through everything and get it into an electronic format in some way.
Yeah, and I was really impressed. Like the way they said that they gathered them was pretty good. They've got a mailbox at the shop.
Yep.
And when the storm's over, all of the crews have to come to the shop and drop their time cards off essentially into that mailbox. So there's one central collection point,
right,
where they gather all the paper logs, which is fantastic, but it does take forever to get through. And I think that's another problem with paper logs is they can be lost.
Yeah.
They blow out off the floorboard, or they, fly out the window, or a guy showed up late and doesn't want anybody to know about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I guess I forgot to turn that in, or, it got lost. My dog ate it, whatever.
Right. Yep.
So that's an issue. They could be destroyed.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of the bigger ones. You're dealing with weather, the window's down. I know there's probably like Jason, he's probably one of those guys that when he's plowing, he's got the window up. But for most, normal people, the window's down, man. You're enjoying that. Yeah. You got the weather coming in, and then it's just splattered all over.
Man, okay.
It's a mess.
You
can't read it. I've been there.
So you ever talk you just can't trust somebody that won't eat a hamburger, right?
Yeah.
Or can't trust a cop that won't eat a hot dog, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Donut. Yeah. Don't trust a plow guy that keeps the windows up.
Yeah.
Not okay. For new guys, if you're cruising along and you've got somebody driving the truck and they've got their heated seat on and the windows are up and it's nice and toasty and warm and they're listening to classical music and get out of that truck
bougie
now.
Bougie plow drivers.
Hey, when I got my last truck, which has been the same one for a while, but regardless, one of my main things was it's gonna have heated seats because when I'm plowing, the window's down and at least my butt's warm.
Yep. Okay, so guilty. I'm going to say this: my truck, which was the last. Long story why I got it, but it wound up with heated seats, not because I ordered it and I felt bad about it, but man,
it's
that's pretty nice. It is a game changer. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Your truck is a giant Chevy, right?
No, it's a giant GMC.
Okay, it's the same goddamn thing. So there's a little bit of a quality
difference there.
It was parked next to Nicole's car. Nicole drives a Camaro, and so I went to get in. I'm like, what the hell is this thing? Oh, it's a monster truck. This has got to be Adams.
Listen,
that's pretty awesome.
Rolling on 35s, got that 6-inch lift. It's all good.
It is. It's pretty bitch looking.
GMC 1 ton, but you'll appreciate this because you're a Ford guy. So my other buddy, big Ford guy. We go back and forth. I got you, on the heated tailgate on the Ford. We had that one episode.
Yeah.
So he's always like, oh, here comes my buddy and his gay man's caddy because GMC. And I'm like, seriously? I mean, he's got one-liners out to nothing. Shout out, Matt.
There you go. Good for Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So logs.
Yeah.
Staying on track, right?
Yeah. Well, you could, if you have to work on your plow or if you have to work on your spreader or if you have to do anything that requires you to get out and not wear gloves, and then you get back in and put your grimy little fingers on your paper log and you smudge everything up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They can be really, really hard to read.
Yeah.
They show up in the office and who knows what kind of handwriting or dirt or grime or grease or whatever else is on it.
I already write in, ancient English hieroglyphics.
Dude, you've got the worst handwriting ever. Are you sure you're not a doctor? I bet you're a doctor.
Are you a left-handed smoker?
Nope.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What the hell is a left-handed smoker?
I used to work with a guy a long time ago, and he's like, there ain't nothing worse than a left-handed smoker. I don't know why. I never got it, but it was funny.
Cool story, bro.
Nice. So yeah, so you've got all that. Another thing is that they're when you need to go get those things, right? So even if you've got like the company up in Omaha that we were talking about that has a central drop-off point, you still have to get all of those paper logs.
Yeah.
Right. They all have to show up somehow. Right. So, and I mean, depending on how, well oiled your machine is, maybe you get them immediately. Maybe you don't get them immediately.
Right.
Yeah, that would be problematic. And which means that you're not capturing data in real time. You don't know what's happening until you have those logs. And then you look back and go, gosh, what happened? Right. So you may have asked somebody to go do something, or you may have, said, hey, do this, hey, do that. Or somebody may have said, hey, I think I should do this, or hey, I think I should do that. But ultimately, until you get those logs and you don't know that it happened without talking to them, you have to actually talk to them on the phone.
Right. And if you have any number of properties, more than 3 or 4, right? And you have a crew that's helping you or a crew that's working for you servicing those properties. In my mind, as much as I trust everybody in this room, if it were, my company's name on the line, I want to know what's happening with snow services.
Yeah. Well, and that's
because I can handle a customer calling and complaining. I get it. I can handle
that. As long as you're professional about it.
As long as they're professional about it. Yeah. But it's the slip and fall when you get that call. Hey, somebody slipped and fell and they got hurt. I don't want that.
No. Well, and there's I know there's guys listening right now that are saying, oh, well, that's why I've got GPS in my trucks. I know exactly where everybody is. Yeah. Well, what you don't necessarily know, you may know that truck's there, but you don't know how many people are in it. Right. You don't know what that truck's doing, if they're doing a good job, if they're not doing a good job. You don't know what's happening with that. Now, you wouldn't know that with a paper log either.
Or a digital log.
But at the same time, you have with that paper log, my point with knowing what's happening is you may see the truck there, but you may not realize, oh gosh, Bill got sick and had to go home and he wasn't in that truck.
Right.
You might not get that information until the day after the storm or 2 or 3 days after the storm, when you realize, oh my God, I should have had 3 guys in that truck and I only had 1 because you're doing it on paper logs.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. All right. Who's this?
Cardinal Sin.
Oh, it's nope. I'm going to not answer that one. I'm going to let that go to voicemail. Depending on who it is, we can bring him into the show here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that guy. It's fine. So
sorry, Brent.
All right. It was not Brent. All right. So now let's switch over and talk about the digital logs, right? So on digital logs, they are not necessarily always the end all be all greatest thing since sliced bread, right? So I mean, we think we've got a really good system for digital logs, but there's still some things that you need to consider when you're thinking about digital logs, right? So, at the end of the day, you're at the mercy of the system, right? So if you're using for example, if you're using a system that requires you to take photos or use GPS, okay.
That's a big one. I see that all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now you may be in a situation where you're setting yourself up for failure when there's a slip and fall.
Yeah.
So, so that system may give you good data, but it might also be, it might also gather data you don't necessarily want, like photos and GPS. Right. Similarly, some systems are, they're you have to use an app, and you have to use the app. And if there's, if Apple or Android decides to throw, push an update out, well, now that app doesn't work anymore.
Right.
And if that happens in a snowstorm, well, God, that's a disaster. Right. So if you put your eggs in the basket of some type of digital logging, you want to have something that gives you the most possible variety and most possible options that you can use, so that you limit just how much you're at the mercy of that digital log system.
Right. Some redundancies or some built-in redundancies, I think, would be nice.
Yeah. And so that's something that's important to consider. Another thing is how customizable do you need that to be? Right. So most of the applications or digital tracking systems that we've seen are, well, and we were talking about at length with our buddy in St. Joseph was talking about how virtually every system out there, and ours included, was written by somebody to solve a specific need. Right. So
it originated in the mind of somebody who needed a problem solved for them.
Right. And so what happens is they solve their problem, they create the software, and bam, out to the market it goes. So, so how customizable is that solution for you? So what might, program A might look great but have some problems, whereas program C might be even better for you. So, that's something where, as you're looking at things, make sure that it's something that you can use for your needs, the way you're set up to do business, not necessarily just elsewhere, because it's not always the case. And, so that is a drawback to some digital logging systems. The other thing is thus far, I've seen them in English, and I've seen Spanish versions. But that's about where they stop. I haven't seen anything that's really that gets into like different dialects. So depending on what area of the country you're from, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, and that's something that, my gosh, you could spend millions and millions of dollars in development and probably still not get it right.
Oh yeah. Well, you'd have to.
Have a misconjugated verb, or
it's an ever-changing thing that would continue,
or a dangling participle somewhere. And
a what, dude?
Dangling participle.
Do we need to get the do we need to get the beepy thing out? Because that sounds like the kind of thing that'd be edited.
Nicole,
this is for kids. Nicole, is it dangling participle okay to say on the air?
I don't know.
Oh, she doesn't know.
It is
short verbs.
It is.
It's worth a Google.
Okay, well, somebody
like mushroom stamp gonna come up or what?
Don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't know if I want to see what that.
It's a grammar thing.
I'm gonna leave it.
A dangling participle. It's kind of fun to say.
I think this guy goes home and just looks up words he can use on the podcast to see if we know what they are.
It's a tertiary hobby of his.
It is a tertiary hobby.
Loser. So, all right. So, and then let's see here. So another thing is any digital system that you have is going to necessitate training. It's going to take time to learn.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what system you're using. You have to learn how to use it, because if you don't, and kind of the last thing on, the drawbacks to disadvantages of digital logs is garbage in is garbage out.
Yeah.
So when you go to digital logs, if your people are putting crap information in, that's all you're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
So now that's the same on paper logs. I mean, if they write down garbage on a paper log, it's going to wind up garbage on your billing.
Sure. Same
thing on a digital log, but so it's kind of one of those, that disadvantage is kind of the same, but it is.
But I think in the digital world, the ability to edit things and make them correct is a little more simpler than trying to edit somebody's paper log.
Okay, hang on a second. Seriously, you just said dangling participle, and then you said a little more easier. What the hell?
I did?
Totally weird.
I said a little more easier?
Yeah.
Well, shame on me.
Dude.
Shame on me.
You don't grammar good.
I don't know. Shame on me for saying that. It is easier.
There you go.
To edit.
Shameless
plug.
To edit in the digital world.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to go back and edit somebody's chicken scratches, which mine are like not even chicken scratches would be ashamed of my handwriting.
That would be a step in the right direction for you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh God. I just looked up, so I've got some airplanes hanging from my ceiling here. I've got the Blue Angel #1. I got a P-51. I got a F-16. That's one of the Thunderbirds right hanging up in here. And I looked over there and reminded my son 3D printed a kick ass P-51 model.
Really?
Yeah, for me to bring in. And he actually did one for you too.
Oh,
it's not a P-51, but I'll show you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Chopped liver.
So, get to know my kids a little bit.
Hey, make me a boat.
when you show
manufacture methamphetamine.
Yeah. When you're swapping dirty jokes with my kids in here, then that's when you get on the list. But But yeah, no. So, okay. So I want to kind of swing back around and talk about some of the advantages of digital logs, right? So we went through advantages and disadvantages of paper logs.
Yep.
We went through some of the disadvantages of digital logs. I do want to talk about some of the advantages because I think there's some really, really cool stuff there.
Absolutely.
I think that number one is they eliminate almost every disadvantage of paper logs, yep. right? So that list was, it takes a long time for data entry. That's eliminated. You're not going to lose your digital logs. They don't go away. And really, if you're using, whether it's our system or if it's somebody else's system, if you're using an honest to God actual, digital setup from a real company, mm-hmm. the servers are all redundant, backed up, multiple redundant backup servers, all in the cloud up in the cloud sphere, whatever.
How would I know? I said a little bit easier.
That's right. No, you said more easier.
A little bit more easier.
A little bit more easier. Something like, you know what? You said something that was dumb.
I did.
It's fine.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Wouldn't be the first time in the last 10 minutes.
Yep. You're not going to destroy your digital logs. They're very easy to keep track of. There's no need for them to be physically delivered to the office. You don't have to worry about handwriting being a problem. And then, another really big thing is that you get them in real time. So, yes. as information is entered, you can see it. So all of those disadvantages of paper logs are solved with digital logs. Another real thing that I think is very, very important is they can be very, very, very simple. Yes. That's something where, sort of not doing it.
No.
We would encourage you to check with multiple different vendors. I can tell you from our seat in the house, the system that we use, which is SG Advantage, is one that is extraordinarily simple to use from the field. It's super, super, super simple. It's fast. It's simple. You don't have to download an app. It works, man.
Yep.
That's a big, big, big deal, is finding something simple. Another thing that
let me just hit on that, because you said it works. It doesn't work just for the person using it. It works, in real time. It works for everybody involved. The big thing that I've seen just in talking to guys and learning about their business is, somebody may like the paper logs that's in ops or dealing with it, but if you talk to the person in billing, they can't stand it.
Yeah. That was a point that was made abundantly clear to us as well. We spoke to 100%. Some people in Omaha.
Yeah, we had some folks that said, hey, from a production standpoint, I really like the idea of these guys handwriting this log. There's a signature on it.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. And then you flip over and you wind up getting, where you can talk to somebody that's on the administrative or billing side and like, I don't give a poop about that signature.
Right.
What I care about is that I can actually read what the information that's here, and I can't read any of this crap.
Right.
Yeah.
And specifically being told, I have to get rid of paper logs. It's killing me.
Yeah. So
okay. Well, I respect that.
Oh yeah. So that's a big, big, big deal. The other thing is, as we talk about the ops staff and the admin staff, depending on the size of the company, right? So the larger the company that you're working with, the more likely it is there's going to be multiple people that all have to look at that same data.
Yep.
Right. So if you're using paper logs, that's why I was saying before, you have to enter that information into a single location so that it can be visible to anybody and everybody.
Right.
Right. So if all of that information is available to all parties at all times, so anybody can log in and see, crew number 17 was at this place at this time, at this place at that time. They can see everything they need to see.
Right.
So if you're using the right system and a customer calls and says, well, I want to know when people are on my property. Okay, well, you print that page. Here you go.
Right.
And go look at your cameras. We were there, right? So, so having that information available to your account manager, to your accounts receivable person, your accounts payable person, to your operations manager, to whoever's handling logistics and material procurement, being able to know, where do I need to send how much material to. I mean, all of those things are big deals that using a good digitized system enables you to make all of that information available to all those people simultaneously.
Let me just give a quick example for everybody that, we found ourselves in the month of January where we had 8 storms in the period of less than, it was about 19 days or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And I can't imagine any sort of success if every third day or every other day we're working a storm and trying to keep track of all that on paper logs and trying to get that stuff entered in on the back end. We'd probably still be trying to play catch up.
It's not that bad. So having had to use paper logs for years, and then we went to an IVR. The crews would call in with what's happening. The paper logs, they take time to deal with. But one of the first things that you enter on the paper log is what storm it is.
Sure.
So as that information comes together and you're doing all your billing, kind of where those need to go.
Yeah.
So
my point is that we still wouldn't be, or maybe by now we would be done catching up with all of that stuff because they were so close together.
Yeah. No. And you're right there. I mean, and I wasn't saying you were wrong. I'm just saying that it's something where if you're listening, so folks that are listening that do use paper logs. That are they're saying, oh, it's not that bad, blah 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 blah. It's not that bad until you try to grow your business,
right?
One of these things that I'm going to talk about from our trip to Omaha last week was we were talking with a guy that has I don't want to call him small, but we'll say a very manageable business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Self-performs all the work, has a couple people that helps him with some plowing.
Mm-hmm.
But as we were talking to him about scalability and the ability to grow his business, he had said, "Oh no, I've got as much as I can possibly handle. I don't want any more. I'm out. I don't want to grow." And so he said, "Okay, well, hang on a second. A big part of why he didn't want to grow is because he wants to make sure that the work that his guys are doing is good, right? And he wants to make sure that he knows who's doing what when they're doing it, right?" And so when we had showed him, our storm, live storm report, well, here, you can see exactly what's happening. And if you got a question, call him, but you can see in real time what's happening. He was just blown away. He's like, wait a minute. So this would make it pretty easy to use subcontractors. And we were like, yeah, the right system makes it so that you have the ability to bring on a subcontractor. Now, if you bring on a dirtbag sub that's going to do bad work slowly, well, then you're screwed. There's nothing you can do about that.
Right.
But if you manage to bring on somebody that's good, that you trust, and you have a good relationship with a customer, okay, well, now you can get this done. And a good digital system doesn't mean a ton more paperwork because it just flows. It processes all of that data so quickly that you don't have to manually move it from one table to another. You just have it all ready to go.
Right.
And so he got to thinking, oh, well, gosh, well, maybe I might be able to bring on more subs. Now, whether it does or not, I don't know. But that real-time centralized management of what's going on is a huge, huge, huge deal because it gives you that information when you need it, which, subsequently means you can do everything faster with digital logs.
So what I'm hearing you say is the cohesion of the team using that.
Cohesion. There's another big word.
Like that?
Man, that's a good one. Any word that's 3 syllables or more is good.
It's gonna create a better team.
Yeah.
They're gonna work better together, which in return is gonna have a better culture. So in reality, I'm just gonna drop it here. If you're gonna use the SG Advantage, which will do that for you, you're just making your team better. Making your culture better.
Can't resist.
He can't help it.
I got to do it.
Adam, Adam is the most pointed, dedicated, focused sales guy on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
Nice job.
I'm not even trying to sell it. I just want to talk to you about it.
There you go.
I don't want to waste your time.
I've heard that line before.
I don't want you to waste mine. No, that's what I tell people. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to waste mine because it's valuable.
Yep.
But where do we go from here? Let's do this.
Yeah. So, what we would like
Ken,
to.
Are you going to need an ambulance soon or?
No.
This guy's over here bleeding.
No, I picked a scab. I evidently had a little scab on my elbow, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I picked it. It just came off, and I'm dabbing a bunch of blood on a napkin here. It's fine. So
all the Red Cross.
No, you know what we would like? We would really like to hear from you. Do you use paper logs? Do you not use paper logs, and why? Text us at 314-260-4352, or you can email us at podcast@swintergroup.com, or I don't even care. Nobody cares about social media.
Hit us up on Facebook. Send us a message. Whatever.
Yeah, that's true. What's our Facebook handle, word, number thing? How does that work? Is it a page? Is it a?
Yeah, there's a page.
Yeah, just
Swinter Group.
Swinter
SG Advantage. They're associated, but they're totally separate.
There you go.
You know, we're a snow business. We're a company just like a lot of you guys out there. We just happen to have the right software in our hands. So SG Advantage.
That's it. Man, from the Swinter Group, World Headquarters, St. Louis, Missouri, I'm Ken Bogan, Jason Duggan, Adam Hunter, all here. Thanks all for stopping by. We'll see you next time.
See you.
Bye.